Hello, and welcome to CAD Tech Seminars Tip of the Week. This week we'll be taking a look at AutoCAD. There are some really neat tools inside of AutoCAD that are underused. One is called the eTransmit, and the other is called the Sheet Set Manager. Now what we're going to do is take a look at both of them. Now sometimes you get an email from someone, they'll send you a couple of files and all is well. But sometimes you have to look at a whole set. And if the person who put the drawings together used the Sheet Set Manager and sent it over to you, you'd want to use that again. Now, if you've never heard of the Sheet Set Manager, I'm going to cover it in a minute. Another feature is a thing called eTransmit. It's inside of AutoCAD, and you just drop this down and you'll say Publish, and you go out here and hit eTransmit. It packages up the drawings and the files and all their dependencies. That's the real key right there. If I pick 4 or 5 files, it also will pick up all the XREFs and the CTB files, etc., which is real sweet. Now, to take it further, if someone's using, let's say, the Sheet Set Manager, it'll package up everything for them. Now let's take a look at this folder. I opened it up, and this was sent to me recently. And the nice thing was, it has everything in it. And when I opened it up, I was a happy camper. Now, I look at these files, and they don't really mean much to me, but that's okay, because I have this little thing here called a Sheet Set Manager. Now, what is this? Well, let's step down and take a look at this first. There's a little file in here called Lee High School TXT. Now if I open this up, this is from the eTransmit. Whoever put this file together used eTransmit, and you'll notice how it packaged up all the subsets of all the sheets, civil sheets, and look, they're all organized and nice and pretty. And then all the support files, all the fonts if needed, JPEGs, all that good stuff. Now you'll notice that here it says the fonts were excluded, and that's fine, because I've got the fonts on my machine, so I didn't have to redo it on that. So as we go on down the list, you see lots of good stuff, and if you're using things like MEP, it'll even take the data files and bring them along too. So some really cool stuff here, and that's from using eTransmit. You might want to give that a shot. Take a look at it if you have a chance. A nice tool. Now we're going to take a look at the Sheet Set Manager, and this is an extremely nice tool for someone like me who's receiving all these files, and I don't have a clue how they're put together. Now I have a set of PDFs, and that's great, but I need the CAD files. So here's where we start cooking with gas. Now, depending on how your AutoCAD's set up, you can go up top to AutoCAD, and you can drop down under Open, and you'll see it says Open up a sheet set. Now when I fire it up in Civil 3D, it goes to the command line, which really doesn't work for me, so I'm going to escape that out. Now, there are some shortcut keys in Revit. As you know, there's a bazillion of them. And if you do a Control 4, Control 4 opens up this little thing called a Sheet Set Manager. Now, again, a lot of people don't use this, but it kicks butt. If you've used Revit before, this came out right around the time Autodesk bought Revit. And what they did was they said, hey, this is a cool aspect that Revit has called a thing called the Project Browser. So they built a project browser for AutoCAD. It's just, again, people don't use it often. Now, let's take a look at this thing. So here it is. Now I'm going to go to Open, and I drop this down. Now Open, I want to open up one of the sheet sets. Now what I'm going to look for is I'm going to look for that DST file that I mentioned a moment ago. Now I'm going to go out on my little Revit server here, go to my project, and here's the folder that was sent to me. See that little one there, DST? That is the stuff. Now I click on it and I hit Open. Watch what happens. What it is that's a small database. And let's go ahead and see. Okay, it's running, and notice what it did. It loaded up. Now if you've come from, let's say you've used Revit for a while, you may go, hey, wait a second. This looks a lot like the project browser. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? So I'm going to pull it out a little bit, and notice we can see the different subsets, addendas, and everything down the list here. Now some of them are missing associated files, and we can reassociate them. Let's go take a look over here. Sheet views. Now these are sheet views, and we're going to go to model views. Now if we start to roll these out, you're going to say, hey, wait a second. These are like all the model views or the in Revit. So very similar. Now for me, I'm looking for particular sheets. So I fire up this thing, sheet set, and I'm looking for the grading plans. So I hit here and I expand it out. Now I clicked on it. We'll see what happens there. Hit the little plus. There's all the sheets. Now how sweet is that? Now I don't have to know anything about the names. I don't have to know anything about the XREFs. All I do is I pick the one I want, and I'll say I want a particular one. Now look at this too. If I hover over it, it's actually showing me a pretty picture of each one. So you're thinking, man, this is slick. So I'm going to go ahead and open one up. Let's go down here, one that might be a little smaller. And I double click on it, And what it does, it goes out, gets the appropriate file, and loads it. So what it is, it's a little interface, it's a little database that just keeps track of the files, where they are, and what they're associated with. Now, I'm missing a couple of SHX fonts because earlier it said it didn't take over the SHXs, and that's fine for what I need. Now, as it loads up, it's going to bring it into play here. Now, you don't have to have, for instance, 3D Studio, excuse me, getting off topic again, Civil 3D, to open this up. This is available in all full versions of AutoCAD. Now, I apologize if I may have said Revit a couple of times instead of AutoCAD. But yeah, good stuff here. It's opening that file up and synchronizing references, all kind of goodness. So we'll let that run for a moment. So here it is. As you can see, it opened up, and we have all the information in here that was associated with that project. Now, you will start to notice a couple of little interesting aspects, and we can get into this another day. But you'll see how it says C505, and these areas are gray. Now again, this is based off of Revit. In Revit, if we were to right-click right here, right, and we would go rename and renumber, notice you're thinking, hey, that's very Revit-like. I change the number to, let's say, I'm going to put, let's say something, maybe 66 behind it. I hit OK on that. Now, it changed it here, and if I were to click into this view and regenerate it, regen, hit enter. Okay, whoop, that's not regen in this one. Let me type it, just type the whole command out, regen, hit enter. Watch what happens when it comes up. Bing! Not as instantaneous as Revit, but it does the same thing. So if you haven't used it yet, you may want to do a little bit of exploring and seeing how this works, because it's pretty much good stuff. All right, I'm going to change that back to, I think it was 5, and hit OK on that. Notice again, it doesn't automatically update, just regen it, regen, hit enter, and it regens that information. So really cool stuff. It has a lot of depth to it. So I just wanted to bring that up. So if you were lucky enough to get a set of drawings from somebody and it has a DST file in it, that's what it does. So hope you enjoyed that tip from the RevitGuys.com. Thank you.